Okay. Without further ado, and with all due respect to all those people who've actually hopped in time, I don't want to make them wait any longer. I'm pretty sure many people are excited about this session is because the moment I started sending out links, I had a lot of registrations, and that's the reason I was quite surprised that so many people are actually looking forward to do CFA. So then in itself is actually a big thing for us as well to know that there are participants who are interested, and I'm pretty sure that this beautiful session is going to be very much productive for you and informative. Try and get in as much as information that you can get. With that, my name is Arun Pillai. I'm the Vice President of Corporate Sales and Training out here representing Delphi Star Training Center. You might have received email and messages from me, and at the same time from my team, who've been trying to reach out to you guys to participate in this particular session. So that's a quick introduction about myself. The session was typically, I thought, we should come up with a session on CFAs because this is one course which is highly, regarded, and at the same time, you have a huge potential in the market. And we're getting a lot of requests about CFA. And I thought instead of me, giving out all the information, why don't I just call upon someone who is very much experienced and at the same time someone who's a personality in himself, who you can see on the screen. His name is Vimal. He's an experienced banker and risk practitioner based in Dubai itself. And he's got more than 15 years of banking experience with consulting experience as well in the risk domain, and have worked across Middle East, Europe, and Asia. So he is actually currently working with Emirates NBD as the group head of enterprise and regulatory risk. He is actually responsible for setting and managing the group risk appetite globally, and its periodic reporting to the board of directors of risk committee as well. So I'm not going to talk much about Vimal, is because the moment he starts speaking, I'm pretty sure that the objective of this particular session would be achieved by him itself. And we are looking forward to have questions from you guys, because this is a session, it's going to be more interactive. And I would request you guys to, as and when you have any questions, please drop in your questions in the chat box. And as I said, you can be rest assured we will answer all those questions that you have. So Vimal, over to you. Thank you so much for coming in for this session.
Thank you, Arun. Kind words as usual. And hello, everybody. I can't see any one of you, so I can just see Arun. So I'm just hoping that all of you are there. So when Arun initially introduced the topic about giving a session on CFA, so the initial thought was that what do we explain to you? How do we introduce a topic to you? So a little about me. I'm a 2016 charter holder with CFA Institute, and I have undertaken a lot of voluntary activities with CFA, including examination, content development, and as I've told Arun, I also grade level 3 examinations. Of course, if I'm going to teach you, then I will not be able to grade during that time. So I've seen a lot of candidates, and I've seen how CFA has evolved over time. So one of the primary questions I ask candidates when I speak to them is, why CFA? Why do they want to do a chartered financial analyst program? A lot of response I get is mainly from a career perspective. People are looking for a move in a career, either horizontally, or they want to have a vertical move, or some of them, very few of them, want to understand the world of investments. So if you look at CFA, the way the curriculum is developed, so you would, if you are a 2010 or a 2012 candidate who have cleared all 3 levels of CFA examination, you will find very little similarity when you look up the books of 17, 18. And that is because the curriculum is constantly in the state of development. I myself, having participated in a few of the curriculum developments with the CFA Institute, know and have experienced the amount of effort the Institute puts in to understand the markets, understand the current practitioner's view, and constantly evolve and develop the subject. which I think hats off to the team which is behind this concept and behind this rigor to ensure that the CFA actually remains a gold standard in investment management. So that's the initial introduction to CFA. And to the candidates who are looking for career development, I can tell you from my experience and from the experience of other candidates that I know, CFA is not just going to give you a career boost or let's be realistic, an increase in compensation and other benefits, but it is going to change you, the way you look at things, the way you analyze, even in the real life. It need not be necessarily work, even in the real life situations and the situations that's around you that keeps cropping up. The way you analyze things, the way you look at it, it's going to change. Because by the time you finish level 3 examination, you would have experienced a lot more than what you today think is what is going to be. So let's look at it. Level 1 is going to be an examination where your foundation is crystallized, which means you will move only to the next level if you have minimum standards in the way your understanding of finance, your understanding of economics, portfolio management, and these foundations are crystallized. Level 2 is going to be more quantitative, more mathematical. They're going to teach you about Monte Carlo simulation. They're going to get you right into the number jiggling, and you are really going to analyze, calculate. I mean, even if it's present value of fixed incomes, or if it's a projection of the portfolio, or simulating many variables to understand where the investment is headed or where the portfolio is headed. It's going to be a very intensive exercise. But so ideally, I've seen people say that level 2 is the toughest, but the moment you move to level 3 examination, you will see the picture is entirely changed, because when you open the book, you start reading, and that was even my experience, you really wouldn't know where to start, because level 3 is preparing you to become a portfolio manager. It is about looking at a client, looking at her situation, looking at the estate position, and trying to understand what are the client's expectations, what are the constraints the client is facing, and how you, as a charter holder, is going to manage the money or the finances of the client. And that's quite a challenge, because you are expected to articulate in less than 3 hours on how you're going to manage the portfolio. So you have a case study which is put in front of you. They're going to be a situation, they're going to be a constraint. And you as a portfolio manager have to decide how you're going to do certain things, which is then you realize that it was not actually level 2, it's actually level 3, which is quite intensive and challenging. So by the time you finish that and you come out, you are practically a portfolio manager with a good amount of experience in understanding highly complex or technical problems, which you may or may not face in your actual career, but would have prepared you to understand very complex situations as and when it comes. So I want to put it as it's a holistic development that the charter holder is going to give you. Of course, unlike certain courses which will 3 months, 4 months courses which will finish off fast, CFA is not going to finish off. I mean, it has a minimum time, and it has a tremendous amount of effort that a candidate needs to put in to walk onto the other side. And trust me, and when you cross to the other side, and you will see the difference. You as a personality and amount of work or ability to understand complex situations, and the career boost which it gives you over not just short term, over the long term, in all aspects of life. So that's what the chartership is all about. And a CFA Institute, another thing I've seen is over the course of your time, and if you are a paying member, and if you're really lucky, the institute starts inviting you for voluntary membership, voluntary programs. Now, these programs, including the grading program that I've attended, there are also programs like curriculum development, examination content development, and you get to participate in a fully paid trip. Either you get to fly, or they take you to different places, and you get to interact with practitioners from around the world, other charter holders, like-minded people, and engage, discuss, collaborate, and constantly contribute to the development of the very same institute which have given you the charter holder. So it is a community in itself, and I have developed a lot of friends from around the world, and it's not a sugar-coated. I mean, it's a reality that you actually get to meet people from around the world, and different experiences, different walks of life, and that itself is a tremendous boost to you in your career and personal life, and how it develops as a program within yourself. So this is the initial intro. Arun, if you can put up the slides, I can just go through a few technicalities of the course. So this is going to be very focused on level 1. Next slide. So I was told to give you a slight intro into what to expect in level 1. So I've put up a slide. It's self-explanatory, but I can take you through the columns that I have highlighted. Feel free to stop me, ask questions, or as Arun said, it has to be put in Q&A, right, Arun? Or they can speak.
Most of them I have unmuted them, but I would appreciate if you can just raise your hand. And if you have a quick question within that period, if as and when Vimal takes a pause, probably you can just unmute yourself and ask that question. Thank you so much. Over to you.
So I'm not sure about your background, the prospective candidates. I'm not sure whether you've actually registered for level 1 or you are going to register. But this slide assumes that you are just looking at it and you have not yet registered, and you're a prospective candidate. So as I said, 3 main core things about the level 1 program. They help you build a strong foundation in investment analysis and portfolio management, which essentially means you start with ethics, which is probably one of the toughest and at the same time one of the most strongest areas of the CFA Institute. Strong background in ethics and quantitative methods, which is mainly starting with time value of money. And in my world, I would say the 2 most toughest portions in the entire CFA level 1, that is probability and hypothesis testing. So these are the 2 main, the toughest portions you will find in quantitative methods. It helps you build skills in the investment analysis and portfolio management skill with respect to quantitative methods. Touches upon economics. Economics starts with, so if you are a commerce graduate, you would have a slight understanding of demand and supply curves and the monopoly, oligopoly kind of concepts in economics will be touched upon. And it goes to financial statement analysis. Now, one thing you need to understand, and if you are an MBA graduate or any other Master of Finance graduate, while you were doing financial statement analysis, the core focus was solving a problem, calculating a current ratio, calculating a solvency ratio. CFA is not about solving these. CFA is about interpreting this, and there is a sea of difference between solving and interpreting. The charter holder the CFA does not expect a charter holder to actually solve. They actually expect you to interpret. So if you, for example, if you see that current ratio is, and I'm expecting that you understand what I'm saying. If not, you can interrupt, and then I can probably give you a more broader example. So they expect to see questions like if there is a change in the assets or liabilities composition, if you see there's a drop in stocks or increase in cash or increase in liabilities. The question more or less tends to be, how do you expect the ratio to change? How do you expect the strength of the book to be, kind of question. So very, very interpretive questions. It also tests you on your concepts, but less on the formulas. So you're not expected to mug up the formulas. The basic formulas you expect to understand, but not very complex formulas. The focus on interpretation. So that's the beginning phase. It also then dwells into equity investments, fixed income. Now, this is where it's the introductory phase of equity investments. It speaks about different types of equity investments, different types of fixed income, takes you through a calculation of the present value of fixed income, the future value. So understand that these are all foundation techniques, minimum foundation skills that you require to be a portfolio manager. Heavily tested fixed income portion and equity investments. You will really go through the corporate finance portions which you have studied during your master's or probably during your graduation. Less of weight is applied on derivatives and alternate investments. And I think this was a very conscious decision for CFA Institute to do that, because derivatives and alternate investments are very complex subjects, and which, trust me, level 2 and level 3 will make up for the drop in the weightage in the level for derivatives and alternate investments. Corporate management, portfolio management, wealth planning gives you a slight taste of what to expect in terms of managing the portfolio, managing the wealth. So you get to see how to strategize an investment portfolio. How would you go about managing the portfolio from a very, very foundation perspective? So by the time you reach level 3, you would be doing an end-to-end portfolio management schedule, which you wouldn't be doing for level 1. So this the entire thing comprised of 54 readings and 19 sessions, study sessions. And each session, and I will tell you how this entire thing goes about. So if you look at the CFA curriculum, the books are quite extensive. So they not only focus on the examination content, and they also try to be very broad-based. So let's say you take up one topic, time value of money, they would start explaining about interest rates. So interest rates, there are 3 or 4 different types of interest rates. So they start explaining how they are in the financial markets and how these interest rates reflect on the books. And then they move to the LOS, or the learning outcome statements, on calculating time value of money, calculating $100 today, how can it be, how much is it worth 5 years from now, or a 5 year from now, if it is $500, how much should it be worth today? A different interest rate, different discounting approaches. So it broad bases. It not only covers LOS, it also covers other aspects. So there's quite a reading. So this is where I go back to what I said. It is not just about passing the exam. It is also developing understanding and appreciation of the subject. So what CFA Institute also recommends, and this is available within the CFA Institute website, is each candidate is expected on an average to learn 15 to 20 hours per week for 19 weeks, roughly around 300 hours of learning. And this is on an average. Some candidates do very far less, some candidates have to do far more of learning and dedication to clear the level 1 examination. So my theory has been, and this is something I tell to all the candidates, and I've also practiced myself, the easiest way to win this examination in your first attempt is make sure you understand every single question, and understand and have calculated every single question on the back of the chapter. And along with it, if you are joining Delphi, you will also have access to the Wiley materials and Wiley question banks, which would mean a very focused approach into LOS. So if you look at the Wiley chapter and the CFA chapter, you will see the difference. While the Wiley is exactly focused on helping you attain mastery on the LOS and the questions, the CFA book will be more of a holistic explanation. So I would recommend you read both. And as you move closer to the examination, you start solving questions on the Wiley and the back of the chapter questions. So this will ensure that the fundamentals are strong. And that's where the CFA Institute is going to test you. They are not going to ask you any questions outside the book, outside the LOS, which probably most of us have grown up. The teacher giving you a particular question, a particular chapter, and asking a question out of. That's not going to happen in this case. It's going to be very focused. Nothing is going to come out of those books. Everything is going to come from within the chapter given to you by the CFA Institute. There are also practice questions and mock examinations available within the CFA Institute, which I strongly recommend that you attempt as we move towards. So we will help you in the entire journey, from starting from end of August to all the way to the February examination. And as we move closer, the intensity will increase, the questions, the more you do, the better. And it'll also help you if you are doing practice questions and mock examinations, which will then really strengthen your fundamentals on each and every chapters. And then its opportunity, I've already explained to you. I myself, I'm a banker. Yep. Rajesh, you've raised your hand.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to ask you one question here.
Yeah, sure.
When we are doing this practice questions, mock test, so is there an app available on the mobile or somewhere like where we are doing this, and this is online or this is offline?
As of now, there is no app that we are offering. And Rajesh, interesting that you asked. Is something I've already discussed with Arun, that we need to make an app-based approach for candidates to approach the questions. At the moment, it is not. You will have to go to the particular module or the book and solve these questions. Even the CFA Institute, I don't think, even if you have the app, you have access to these questions. You are supposed to go online and attempt these questions. And I think it's more practical, Rajesh, because an app, you're going to see it in a small screen, might not be very visible. So probably there's a reason why they have not put it into app.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Right. I just like to add here, of course, we've not launched an app yet, but then having said that, with the Wiley kit, as Vimal rightly said, that we do have a Wiley kit. And of course, Wiley is there to help with the amount of study notes and things that you get with Wiley. But at the same time, we have this beautiful tool, which is our learning management to our students. And in that e-learning portal, apart from the Wiley question bank, we have our own design more, and prepare yourself before you give the exam. So we have our set of study notes, we have our set of question bank, we have each and every class that you're attending. Those classes are recorded that you can access on your phone as well. You don't need an app for that. You will get a username and password once you enroll with us. So those benefits we will discuss in upcoming slides, or rather when once Vimal is done. So I will discuss about all that. Some other participants. Thank you, Rajesh, for that question.
Yes, that answers my doubt. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone else who's got any question? You can probably ask right now, or we can just continue. I guess nothing has.
Okay. As I said, the column is on the opportunities. I've already discussed with you. So the candidates, once you clear all three levels, and not necessarily just all three levels, I've seen also candidates who get an opportunity the moment they finish a level 1 examination, a junior level, because you have established that you have certain fundamental understanding of portfolio management and the skills required to be a successful charter holder. Opportunities come up in research and consulting and risk management. As I said, I myself am a banker. I focus on risk management. So my client is my bank, and I manage the portfolio of the bank, so including risk appetite, setting up threshold metrics, etc. So the opportunity is tremendous, and one of the highlights is data science. So if you see, the data science is about interpretation of data, and which is what the CFA Institute, through their CFA program, helps you develop the skill of understanding the data, not just the data, understanding the situation and providing and bringing a reasonable understanding of data, and preparing a portfolio which supports the client. So data science is a similar way. It is about understanding the data and coming out with a conclusion of what the data speaks and where it is headed, etc. Similarly, on investment strategy, heavily focused on portfolio management, CFA Institute, through the CFA course, also strengthens your understanding of investments, and there's different strategies that need to be adopted. So the opportunity in different career fields opens up to you with CFA program. But yes, the challenge is that you need to clear all three levels of examination, and it is not a small thing. It is quite a big thing, and it needs a lot of dedication, a lot of efforts. We are here to help you. We are able to provide as much as we can, and we can guide you through this. But the journey, when you decided to undertake, it is for you to put in the effort and for you to add on supplement what we are providing for you, and to ensure that we do the journey together. So Arun and I are always available, and we are looking to see candidates move to the next level once the February examinations are over. So I understand from Arun that the classes we are looking to start by end of August. So that's roughly, we're looking at 26 sessions, and the focus will be, each session will be around 3 hours. So that will be a commitment from our side. And as a candidate, you will need to put in 15 to 20 hours per week for 19 weeks. That's from me, a short intro. Is there any questions, any comments that you have, please?
Great, that was wonderful. In fact, Vimal, thank you so much. Now, I would like to open up the session to all the participants who've joined in to ask questions. If you want, you can type down your questions and I can read that out. Or if I have given you access to speak out, you can unmute yourself and you can ask the question as well.
One question, Mr. Mehul.
Yeah, sure.
When we are like attempting the mock exam, so since it is not like we are doing like sitting in the at our workplace and we are doing that, is that mock exam is computer based, or again like this is pen and paper kind of a thing which we have to monitor ourselves and do, or it's a time clock which is running and something like that?
So CFA mock examinations are time-based. So once you are entering the mock examination, it's a computer-based. It's not pen and paper. It's a computer-based, and you log in and you start attempting, and it is a dedicated, I think, 3 hours or 6 hours or whatever the time frame is. You need to go through it. So you cannot take a break and come. I mean, if you take a break, then that's considered, the time is counted irrespective.
Is there a negative marking in that?
There is no negative marking in the CFA examinations. So it's either 1 or 0. So either you get the mark or you don't get the mark.
Okay. Thank you.
So Arun, we have another question. Schedule on training session, which all days and timings?
Yes, I just got that. So as Vimal concluded the session by saying that we are looking forward to start CFA level 1 batch by the end of August to prepare yourself for the February exam, because we have a current batch going on for the November sit-in. So these guys are preparing for the November exam. So of course, as of now, we've kept it to 1 day a week, which is going to be between 2 to 3 hours. It depends upon Vimal, is because sometimes we notice that it gets too much of downloading, so we try to keep it engaged, keep our participants engaged, and try to cut short things. Otherwise, it's going to be 3 hours once a week. And by the time we approach the exam, of course, we will also have a revision session so that you are well prepared before you go for the exam as well. Now, the revision session would be announced once your entire class is over, and whoever have enrolled with us, of course, those people can jump into the session. And at the same time, if not, then you can always come for a bridge session. Well, what I understand by a bridge session is that you have tried starting by yourself, and towards the end you can come for the exam sessions as well. So that's the schedule as of now for next month. Towards the end of the month, by 27th is when we are starting off the session.
Hi Arun, this is Praveen here.
Also, I would just like to confirm. Yes, hi Praveen. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. So this will start if you start on 27th of August, it will continue for how many weeks?
So if we start off by 26th of August, it's going to be roughly around 20 weeks. It depends upon the participants as well. So we do not stop the class just because we are promising it 70 to 80 hours. We try to complete the portion and at the same time try and understand whether the participants are well prepared. And that's the reason we are also keeping a revision session after that.
Okay, thank you. And just one more query. I understand CFA requires some familiarity with specific calculators. So is it so, or will that assistance be also be provided? I mean, like getting familiar with the calculator usage, something like that.
Arun, I can take this. Yeah. So see, it's obvious that we will be helping you with the understanding the calculator, because the certain subjects, especially corporate finance and time value of money, expect you to work out the problems using the calculator. So yes, so there are two types of calculator that is used. So I'm familiar myself with the Texas BA2 instrument, and it's the same functionality. So yes, to answer your question, we will be helping you understand the calculator, without which you will not be able to cover the LOS. So it's important that you understand how the calculator functions.
I hope that answers your question, Praveen.
Thank you so much.
I would just like to also highlight a few things from Delphi's perspective. As Vimal rightly said, that you will definitely be getting a Wiley kit, and that is the original Wiley kit. We are the official publishers for Wiley. We have Wiley Hawks as well, and Glenn at the same time. But then we prefer Wiley is because all our trainers prefer the same, and they, as Vimal explained as to why Wiley is important and how they have very precise study notes and study material that helps our participants clear their exam as well. And it's very basic, and how you understand the subject is more important than you just mugging up and giving the exam, because that's not the case out here in CFA. You need to understand the concepts, you need to understand the logic, only then can you go ahead and give the exam properly. And that's the reason we have a good amount of mock sessions. We have a question bank which allows you to give a lot of questions, attempt a lot of questions and practice before you give the exam. And these things are also available, as I said, on our e-learning portal, which allows our participants to study, to practice, and at the same time revise what they've learned in their previous classes, because these are online classes. Like right now, how we are speaking, this session is also recorded. So when you're attending a class, those classes are also recorded. So tomorrow, if you want to revisit as to whatever you've learned, of course, you can go on to our e-learning portal and you can view those videos once again when you're sitting and studying whatever subject that you learned the previous day. With that, of course, we have our own set of question bank apart from Wiley that will also help you practice more. And those are a few things that I would like to highlight as to from when they start with us till the end. And we have a lot of other things that we discuss once you made up your mind and you've decided to enroll with us. I will definitely guide you. My team will be helping you to give out a lot of other information which is very valuable for a participant. So with that, I would just like to check with you guys. Do you guys have any more questions? You can unmute yourself and you can ask questions. I mean, I'm pretty sure if you don't want to unmute yourself, you can always jot down your question in the section of question and answer. You can just make a note and we can answer that as well. If you've shown the interest to join in the session, I'm pretty sure that you've invested those 40 minutes as of now. So I would really appreciate if you could, unmute yourself and ask questions, whatever question that you may have. It's not necessary that it should be bang on that this is the question that is for everyone. It could be a question that is only for you and not probably for someone else. So, and that question can be probably helpful for the others as well. So I would really appreciate if you guys have any more questions.
I am Ashwin. I just want to know, I mean, what
Yes,
would
Ashwin.
be, what should be the parameters to choose when you have to choose between FRM and CFA?
Arun, I can take this.
Yes.
So this is probably one of the very interesting questions that's been asked between many candidates, and I think Arun himself has asked me this question. I can tell you from a practitioner's perspective now. FRM is a course which is focused on market risk. So if you open the book now, yes, they have cut it into two parts, but essentially it speaks about how you have to manage the market risk book of the bank. Helps you understand the VAR calculations, help you understand specifically market risk capital computation, economic capital when it comes to market risk, etc. Very focused on the market risk aspect. Now, CFA, and I'm not saying this because I myself have done the PRM, Professional Risk Manager, which is because FRM and PRM body were together at one point. So I can tell you from my experience, PRM, in fact, I'm not sure whether you know about it, it's more quantitative than FRM, it has very specific mathematical papers. While these exams with due respect, FRM focuses on a very limited timeline and trying to make you strengthen your aspects with respect to capital and economic capital of market risk. CFA is beyond that. CFA is about an overall approach. So you look at the subjects, you start with ethics, then you have economics, you have corporate finance, you have portfolio management, you have quantitative methods, corporate valuation, corporate finance, equity valuation, fixed income. So if I have to give you a like-to-like approach, the UK NARIC body. Now, UK NARIC is a body which used to be there when UK considered immigration for candidates. CFA level 3 pass was considered to be equivalent to having a master's program. So, I mean, you can Google it, you will understand that. CFA program level 3. This was when the immigration was open to successful candidates, which speaks volumes. So it is equivalent to a master's program in finance. It's a holistic approach to finance, gives you a much broader understanding than an FRM or a PRM or even CQF. So there are a lot of courses, and this is what I explained to you. There are courses which you can clear in 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. There is a reason why CFA is for 3 years or for 18 months at least, because it requires as much time and energy and effort for a candidate to understand, appreciate, and master the subject and clear it. So there is a reason why it is so long and so broad based. So definitely completely different. Now, there's no harm in doing an FRM, but CFA takes you to a different level altogether.
Yeah, hi, Vimal Praveen here. Just a small add-on to this question. Like in FRM, one needs to have a good understanding of quantitative models like, let's say, Monte Carlo simulation and all those things. But does a candidate require a deeper understanding of quantitative models specifically, let's say, in when we talk about derivatives and all? So in those sections, will we require a very in-depth understanding, or candidate with a decent understanding of mathematics can also, with a good hard work, can have a good grasp over those subjects?
Praveen, 100%. You don't need to, CFA do not expect you to be a super quant or even a quant. As I said, CFA is about interpreting the results. So they speak about a bull strategy or a bear strategy, and they ask you to interpret. So you don't need to understand the calculation. You don't need to understand these quantitative models. The focus is, given that there is a model, given that there is an input, there's an output, what is your thought? See, you have to understand, as a charter holder, let's say you become a charter holder, and you have a team working behind you running these models. There are quantitative experts in institutions and investment management firm who are running these models, market simulation. Your role as an advisor is to look at these models, understand what they are doing, and explain these to the client. So they are not expecting you to run it per se. So To answer your question, you don't even need to be a quant to look at this. It's a basic understanding and interpretation. And of course, there is hard work required because you need to understand the strategies. And the curriculum, along with Wiley, gives you that platform to understand.
Okay, thank you so much.
No worries. Feel free to ask any questions you have with respect to any particular subject or even a broader question with respect to CFA. More than happy to answer.
That was quite interesting for me as well, what Praveen asked, in fact. That actually gives you more insight about quant as well, because that's a typical question that a lot of my participants also ask me. So yeah, thank you for that question, Praveen and Ashwin. Okay, so do we have any more questions, or we will definitely be getting back in, we will be getting back with an email to all these participants who joined in today. Really appreciate the time that you've taken out. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes. Okay, so I would just say that once again. Okay, so I'm just going to say that we're definitely going to get back to you. We'll be sending an email to all the participants who've joined in today. Really appreciate the time that you've taken out to come attend this session. This is not going to stop here. We're definitely going to be coming up with a lot of interesting topics. Today, we will just start off with CFA level 1 as to how, what are the benefits and how you can go about CFA and prepare yourself for CFA examinations and things like that. With due further, of course, I'm guessing if you are enrolling with us, of course, there are a lot of other benefits that you get, as I said. But apart from that as well, we would be conducting these sessions, especially with regards to topic-based. Like right now, there was a question, FRM. Why I smiled when Ashwin asked that question is because that's a very common question everyone asks, FRM and CFA. Probably we can actually come up with a session next time with regards to FRM and CFA as to how is it different and how it can actually change your life. So that is a topic that has been chosen by Ashwin only, I would say. So thank you so much for that. But apart from that, as I said, if you don't have any more questions, I would definitely like to end the session out here by thanking all of you, for hopping in, and especially thanks to Vimal for taking out the time right after his work, and I really appreciate all the insights that you've shared. And it definitely makes sense as to how and why a professional should actually go for CFA, and what it takes for an individual to clear the exam and at the same time succeed. Right. So I'm going to call it off this session, and thank you everyone for joining in. You